Everybody, what is up? OCD Mikey, hi-fi guy here for another edition of the Mikey Show. I am the guy that has, for 24 years, been doing this as a career. I don't charge you to talk to me. I don't pretend like I'm a professional. You actually get the real business from Mikey, and I tell it how it is. And I'm about to give you, right now for free, the most important series of audiophile tutorials that are going to help you weed through this BS in incredible efficiency, where you're just going to understand which way do I go in this. Because as anything, watches, cars, guns, motorcycles, you can go further than you intended. You can end up purchasing something totally farther than your skill level or your listening level can even hear. So I'm going to start this and keep this simple and help you break it down. I'm going to start from the very beginning. Again, this is unscripted. All my videos are unscripted. But I'm going to make it easy to break it down for you. The first thing you need to do when you decide that you are an audiophile. Okay, first of all, realize there is a huge difference in audiophiles. Some guy that's out there buying vintage stuff, and it doesn't mean you're not an audiophile if you don't buy expensive stuff. It's just there's different audiophiles. So the word audiophile is extremely broad. It is not all-encompassing. I mean, it is all-encompassing, but it doesn't tell anybody really that much about what area or what sector you're in. So the first thing you need to decide from being an audiophile is, where do you plan to go with it? Where do I plan to take this, okay? So the first thing you need to ask yourself is, how do you listen? Okay? How do I listen? Okay? How do you listen? There's pretty much two different types of how you listen and how you're going to desire to listen with your audiophile journey, okay? The first one, we'll say A, is background. Background music. Okay, so background music means, okay, I like to turn on my stereo, and then I'm going to sit down, I'm going to read the morning paper, have my coffee, I'm going to be in the kitchen fixing dinner or breakfast or lunch, whatever. And or I may be playing with the dog or doing my building ships at my desk or whatever the hell, right? And music is just your background thing. It's just something that's always in the background, okay? If you are a background music listener, okay, thumbs up, because this is going to cost you very little, okay? If you listen as background music, a system that images in 3 dimensions does not matter, because you're not trying to get that. You're not really even paying attention. You're not critiquing the sound stage. You are not even in that sort of a listening space. So all you need is something it doesn't need to image. All it needs is frequency response. It needs to have decent bass that's not boomy. It needs to have clear highs and nice liquid mids, okay? That's all you need for a background. And I could even argue that maybe you don't even need the liquid mids. Because you're not critiquing sonic. You're not even sitting and going into a zone. You're just sort of, well, you could be going into a zone of your newspaper article, but you're not fully locked in a music zone. Your music is your background soundtrack to whatever else you're doing, okay? If this is you and music is your background soundtrack to whatever you're doing, you don't need to spend much money. You do not need the expensive DAC. You do not need speakers that image well, that have all this perfect, delineation of instrument placement in the soundstage. You don't need that stuff, okay? So this system here, for people that listen in background music, it's different than the people that critique musical presentation. It's different than the people that their whole trip is only about the music and they're only focused on the music, like me. When I sit down here, I'm not doing anything. I have a dedicated room for listening only, and all we do in here is listen to music. There's no reading going on. There's no working on other crafts or scrapbooking or needle pointing or whatever the hell else we do as men. And I know there's women here too, but it just, if it's your background thing, dude, you're off scot-free. You are off the hook, okay? You don't need to trip on what's the greatest next thing, Because it's your background music. So many of the features that high-end audio systems perform, you're not concerned with. So you are off lucky if this is your thing. So you could be a background music audiophile. This, I don't even consider this an audiophile, because you just want background music, and maybe you just want high quality background music. Okay, it's up in the air. My word audiophile is much more narrow than most people's. Okay, the second one, B, is where you are going to focus on the music only. Okay? This is where you focus on the music only. What I just described for you. This is type B, okay? Now, if you are focusing on the music only, that means you are going to dedicate time to listen to your hi-fi system. You are going to want to critique it at some points where you listen, and really you want to get all your little check boxes off, and we'll go through that later, what the check boxes are. And when you cross that line, then you can sit there and you can be in your sonic nirvana, and essentially you are going to meditate when you listen to your music. You're going to be in a meditative state. You may close your eyes. You may turn the lights out. You may just zone out and go totally into your music zone, okay? That's me. That's what I do. Either one is good. It doesn't matter, but this will help you. This will help you save money. Once you get into here, you are on the edge of the abyss, okay? So where you go from here could be one step down, or it could be into the bottomless pit. It could be into the rabbit hole where you're lucky if you escape, okay? And this could be for the rest of your life. This is something you're just going to get checked off, check, and then you're out of there. This one is going to be a little more of a lengthy process. It's definitely going to be more expensive. It's going to take more room in your house. Well, not necessarily. It's just going to take how you set it up is going to be a little different. But this is the first thing to decide. Is it background music, or am I going to focus on the music only? Because this is audiophile territory. To me, this is music lover territory. Here we get into audiophile territory, okay? So this is the first thing for you to decide. And this will help you where to go. I am going to say if your answer is background music, okay, bye-bye. You're not going to learn much more from me, because this is the area where I'm going to take these series of videos. And this just means get a freaking Sonos system. Get something that looks cool. If you want to get a vintage rig, get whatever, and just put it in there and have it as your background music. It really doesn't matter what you have. Anything is good in here. There are no rules or anything like that. Once you start to get into the focus of the music only, now we're going to start to get into more rigid, not totally rigid, but more structured sort of how we set up, what we listen for. It becomes much more technical at this point than this one. So that's the first thing, and the first episode is to decide which one you are, which type of listener you are. If you're a background music listener, cool, you're out of school. You just left. You don't need to watch any more of these. If you want to focus on the music only, tune in for the next video, because that is where I'm going to go into what's next if you focus on the music only. All right. Thanks for joining. See you.